Welcome to the Biz Easy podcast, where small business is simplified for greater results. Brought to you by Resources and Development. Go to www.resources-development.com for help in taking your business to the next level. And now, help me welcome the host of the Biz Easy podcast, Steve McCrillis.
Welcome to the first episode of Season 2 of the Biz Easy podcast. Coming to you live from the small business capital of Middle Tennessee, and you didn't know that that's where the small business capital was. Your resource to help take your business to the next level. My name is Steve, your host, as we learn how to stay better focused on the things that make you great. Now, we have some changes for this season, lots of changes. First of all, we will have a free gift at the end of each episode. That's right, I said free. So stick with us to the end and learn how you can get this week's free gift. Those free gifts are immeasurable when they come to tools that may help your business. Or you might get one of these cool mugs. Second, we will also be mixing up the format a little as we have some special guests, subject experts, and small business owners that we will be interviewing. We will also be ending each episode with a story about a business and some business people. And lastly, we will be mentioning our new sponsors that have been kind enough to support the Biz Easy podcast and the Biz Easy network. If you're looking to become a sponsor, reach out and we'll talk about the advantages of putting your brand in front of our audience. So, with all that we have lined up for you, make sure that you hit subscribe to the Biz Easy podcast so that you don't miss an episode. This week, we thought, being holiday season, we would take time to share a heartfelt story from one of Skip's clients. Did I give it away by saying that?
Maybe.
That said, I'd like to introduce you to my partner and our resident guru of coaching, our lead business coach, Skip Williams.
Well, it's good to see you here for season 2, Steve. I'm so happy to be back. This is great, but I'm not sure that Middle Tennessee is the small business capital of the country.
So I think it's in Bryan Head, Utah.
Bryan Head, Utah. Yeah, population is 112 now here in Bryan Head.
Well, that certainly qualifies for the capital.
Hey, Steve, this being the holiday season and all, I wanted to talk about miracles. Do you believe in miracles?
Well, with the world around us, I have to admit it's hard. But during this time of year, I certainly want to believe.
Great. These days, it is hard to believe that all things work together for the greater good, isn't it? With bad economic news, prices going up, your buying power going down, the miracle of Christmas might seem a little thin this year, the glow not as bright, and the balsam a little harder to smell. But with bad news on our doorstep, abundance comes in greater abundance comes easier recognition of miracles as well as greater appreciation for them. Therein lies the blessing of the season, a greater appreciation for what and who we have in our lives. For it's not the money or the things that make us truly wealthy, is it? It's the abundance of those we care about and those that care about us. And I think I'd be remiss at this part of the podcast if I didn't tell each and every one of you listeners how much you mean to Resource and Development and the Biz Easy podcast.
That's absolutely right, Skip. Whether you have spent a dime with our company or not, we want you to know just how much your support, attention, well wishes, and dialogue have meant. This has been a year of transition for business as well as resource and development and the creation of the Biz Easy network. And I have felt your prayers on our behalf, and I hope that you have felt ours.
That's right. For as much as we're a business, we're a mission as well. And in between doing our work, we pray that each of you enjoy the miracle of business success and that your bottom line receives as much healing as is necessary to meet your needs. Steve, I'd like to tell a little story that reminds me that miracles do happen. And I'm reminded just how karmic capitalism can be this season when one of our business owners began to have health problems. She's a great lady, and she's worked hard over the years, but all year the revenue for the business kept dropping as the economy worsened, and the perfect economic storm that had descended upon this well-respected business owner, and perhaps it has for you out there as well. She found herself working twice as hard for half as much, but she refused to compromise the quality or the level of service she'd become known for in her community. She continued to dedicate herself to her business, her employees, and her industry, and was willing to make the sacrifices it would take, the longer hours and the harder work that it would be required to make sure that everyone was well taken care of. She had a reputation as an honest broker in all of her business dealings and was well respected in her community. Her employee population and her colleagues respected her as well, and she knew no other way of doing business other than to put good out to get good back. Do it because it's the right thing to do, not because it's the easy thing to do. And while the year had been difficult, she was willing to make those sacrifices and put in that extra effort. That is, until her health became an issue. Ordered by doctors were several medical procedures, some hospital stays, medication, of course, and ultimately confinement to home. So would the business survive? Would all her hard work be for naught? How could she run the business from her bed when it took such an extra effort during this economy?
Skip, how long had she been in business?
I think about 8 to 10 years, somewhere in that neighborhood. So a decent amount of time to build up a great reputation in her community.
It sounds like she had the esteem of customers, clients, vendors alike.
Absolutely. She was even involved in trade organizations, so she was helping other businesses like hers as well.
How devastating it must be to see all your hard work seem to fall apart. Now, we've all experienced challenges, but not all have experienced their business in total jeopardy. This is a cautionary tale also for those who have built their business around themselves, wherein the business cannot run without the owner. I can't tell you the number of times I've asked, what would happen if something happened to you yesterday? And the responses I got were mostly deadpan stares.
That's right. The proverbial hit by a bus or just laid up or whatever. It really is devastating to a business if the business is that dependent on you, Steve. So doing everything in your power to delegate, to bring in managers to help and assist you, to take part of the load. Those things are critical in those sorts of times, but it's also critical, we've talked about before, in the ultimate value of the business, right? Go ahead.
It's so important that you mentioned that, Skip, because I ask often, what is the value of the business without you? And again, I get a dead stare because the person that wants to buy your business, if we're forward thinking, not everybody wants to sell their business immediately, but you at least contemplate it. And thinking forward, what would the business be without you? And most people are proud to say, well, it can't run without me. But in reality, if you're trying to sell it, it doesn't have any value without you. And they don't want to buy you. They want to buy a business. They want to buy an enterprise, a machine that essentially can, and I don't want to say print money, but can generate, has some utility, if you will. So now you got me sitting on the edge of my seat, although I do know the end of the story. Do tell. How does the story unfold?
Well, as we were alluding to, just as she thought she might have to close the doors to the business, a white knight, or maybe more holiday appropriate would be Red Santa, appeared on the horizon, and it seemed that it seems that one of her clients got wind that the business might have to close. The client had been a loyal customer for many years, and had seen just how dedicated the other customers were to the business as well. They recognized the impeccable reputation that the business had in the community and saw how professional and well-trained the staff was, and knew, despite the bad economy, just how great an investment of goodwill that this business was, and has now negotiated a sale of the business, and it should take place any day now, Steve. So good news. But who's the winner in this Christmas tale of karma? I think everyone is. The employees win, of course, because they get to continue doing what they love and what they're good at. The community wins because it doesn't lose a fine business with a solid reputation and tax base. And the clients win because they want to come back. And then the owner wins because she gets to see her dream continue without closing the doors. And the new owner wins with a turnkey business that is professionally run and well respected. And that is the lesson of business, isn't it? I mean, real business and real capitalism. They're nothing like sports or even like Wall Street. When done properly, there should never be losers. Everybody should win. And while some of this true tale may seem like luck. Excuse me. Luck is a byproduct of hard work and doing things right and for the right reasons. And this is how I believe that we as an American society, and more specifically, American business, we've kind of lost our way. When we all want to get rich quick, we all want to make it all on one deal, and we're not concerned if others get hurt in the process. Something's gone wrong with our purpose. Instead, we must want to get rich over a lifetime from the toil of our hands, from the serving of others, in order to enjoy the fruit of our labor. Or so it seems to me. And that's my holiday tale. And I want to wish everyone happy holidays and a blessed and profitable new year, Steve.
And, Skip, I want to underscore something that you said earlier. You said this is the lesson. Business, I mean, real business and real capitalism are nothing like sports or even like Wall Street. When done properly, there should never be losers. Everyone should win. And that's true. The business owner should win with the success of his business. His employees should win because they're paid commensurate for what they do and their performance, and they're part of this success. The client, the customer should win because they like the product. You can't stay in business if you offer a crappy product or a crappy service. And finally, let's face it, the community wins because we have all heard the tales of Main Street during the pandemic and all this business that had to close. So everybody wins. The community wins, and all the people that are involved in it win. So that's it.
I mean, I think that's right. I mean, just the fundamental of this, boil it down to its basic. When you sell me something, that's because I want it and I think it has a greater value than the money I'm giving you. And you win because so I win. I have the product that I want, and you win because you have the money to go and make more of them, and ultimately feed your family. So that's the fundamentals of capitalism right there.
And you had mentioned that she'd been in business 8-10 years, something to that effect. And that has got to be devastating. Think about that, because things happen. When I originally started out traveling, working with small business, I asked them about sales. I asked them different questions about their business. They said, well, we can't keep up with sales. Oh my gosh, we can't keep up with that. And I'm thinking, because this was back in prior to 07, 08, 09. And you remember what happened then. It's almost like the faucet got shut off in terms of revenue. And they didn't even think about it. But years after that, I asked that question. I'm like, well, I do have a plan. I do want to make sure that I continue to grow my revenue. So it became a more valid question for them. And they paid attention to it a little bit more carefully. So it is a good tale. And also the COVID, let's be honest, during the most recent pandemic, it really hit a lot of businesses hard. So, keep your ducks in a row.
Who could have predicted that? And it's one of the things that lessons that I learned too. I now work on that very diligently with the clients that I coach. Is let's make sure your business is recession proof. Let's make sure that let's hope that the recession doesn't happen, but let's be prepared for it in case it does. That's those sorts of things that make your business give your business a much more solid position that's going to survive with you, without you, and regardless of the economic climate. Yeah.
Let me reiterate your message. Happy holidays to all, and to all a blessed and profitable new year. So at the beginning of this episode, we had mentioned that those who had listened through and through the first episode of the second season, what free gift do we have for everyone?
Well, Steve, I'm glad you brought it up because I am so excited about giving gifts away this year. We've got a bunch of them in the pipeline, ready to go to be given away with each episode. So stay tuned to each episode and right to the very end, and we'll tell you what the free gift is. In some cases, we'll show you how to use that free gift to enhance your business. This week, Steve and I are waiting for our second book to be published. It's still a few months away, but our first book is primed to give away to folks if they really want to enhance their business. It's called The Power of Incremental Gains. And in this book, we show why compounding solutions and making small improvements will work to take your business to the level that you want it to be and need it to be. So through thoughtful analysis, you can determine what aspects of your business you should work on to provide the biggest improvements to your bottom line.
Now, to obtain your copy of The Power of Incremental Gains, you must go to resources-development.com, click on the Products tab, select the book, and use the coupon code. The word is POWER in all caps, POWER, all in caps. Now, it's that easy, and our way of saying thank you for listening, and we sincerely hope that these free gifts we share with you this year will help you in your business. Now, we're also offering one extended service. As you take on these gifts, all of which Skip created with great diligence and great careful thought, tools that will really help you in your business for various applications, you can reach out to us because we will help you and walk you through those things. So just didn't want you, here, take this, and you don't know how to put batteries in it. So I just thought I'd share that. So with that, I'd like to say happy holidays, everyone, and we'll see you next episode.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Thanks for listening to today's Busy Z podcast. If you enjoyed our broadcast, we would kindly ask you to like, subscribe, and share with other entrepreneurs. See you next time on the Busy Z podcast, where business is simplified for greater results.